welcome to Famitsu Check It Out. My name is Paul Smith, and we're going to check out the newest issue of Famitsu, as you can see on the table here. Um, this is for the week of April 10th, 2020. You can check out my website, owrgames.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, this Mixer channel, everything. So yeah, let's get it started. This issue of Famitsu is predominantly covering Final Fantasy VII Remake. As you can see on the cover here, 70 pages is being devoted to Final Fantasy Remake. So today's podcast is basically going to be talking about Final Fantasy Remake. I played Final Fantasy the original, not Remake, at the time. It was one of the first games that I bought for my PlayStation, and it was, I think, maybe the first strategy guide I ever bought. I'm sure countless people have that Brady Games Final Fantasy strategy guide. I still have it myself at home on a shelf somewhere. I've actually downloaded that original one for my Switch, and also I downloaded a bootleg copy of the strategy guide from the Internet Archive. And I played through that using that strategy guide for a little while not too long ago. So yeah, it brought back a lot of memories. It was pretty nostalgic for me. So let's check out this cover. I really like this cover. It's really subdued compared to most Famitsu covers. A lot of times Famitsu covers have a very specific artist. I forget the guy's name, but he a lot of times will interpret video game characters into his style and make Famitsu covers based on that. I like sometimes when they go outside of that. I like his style. His style is very cool, and I like to see his interpretation of popular video game characters. But I also like covers like this, where it's very much, like I said, subdued. We have the Final Fantasy logo just here. I like the Famitsu logo up here with the materia orbs, making the two kanji there. And then just a very simple introduction that we're going back to the story or the legend. And then 70 pages of a feature that is going to be covering the release of the game. So let's open up the book. Let's see. The camera is only going to be able to stay on one page. I'm still trying to get camera situation figured out. Okay. So first thing, as always, we're going to talk about the top 30 games of the week. Last week was dominated by Animal Crossing. The issue of Famitsu. Actually, no. That was 2 weeks ago. Last week's issue was Biohazard 3, or Resident Evil 3. But last week's number one game was Animal Crossing New Horizons. And this week also is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Looks like 700,000. That's 700,000? Yeah, 700,000 copies were sold in Japan. For a total of just over 2.5 million units in Japan. So now we have two new games in the number 2 and number 3 spot. We have the One Piece Dynasty Warriors style game. Those games are called Muso over here. This looks like it's the fourth one. I guess I didn't know that One Piece had done a Musou game before. I'm not a big fan of that style of game. I think the only one that I've ever purchased was the Zelda Musou game, and I really didn't even play that much of it. So yeah, it looks like PlayStation 4 is winning out over the Switch version. We have 75, almost 76,000 units for the PlayStation 4 version, and then 60,000 for the Switch version. Next in line is going to be Pokemon Sword and Shield and Ring Fit Adventure. I'm wondering if Ring Fit Adventure has gotten more popular because people are staying inside more and they want to get some exercise. Just a thought. What else do we have? Looks like number 6 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's been kind of a constant seller recently. Number 7 is the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I have the demo of that on my Switch, and I've been meaning to check it out. For some reason, late last night, I started playing the Pokken fighting game demo. I never played that on Wii U, so I thought I'd try it out. And I went through the tutorial last night, and yeah, it seems kind of cool. I'm sure that it's got pretty deep fighting systems, but it's got that accessibility, so in that way it's very much like Smash Brothers. Next one on the list, number 8, which has fallen quite far, is Neo 2. 11,000 copies. I would assume that many of the players that that want to play that game probably bought it like the first day of release. Yeah, so number 9 is Smash Brothers, and number 10 is Minecraft, which has also fallen quite a bit. You can see that it was 5 last week and the week before, and this week it's down to 10. So there's a few other new games on this list. Over here at number 13, a PlayStation 4 game. Sniper Ghost Warrior. Ghost Warrior Contract. Okay. I don't know what Sniper Ghost Warrior Contract is. PlayStation 4 game. Life is Strange 2 came out as well, and that's number 15. Nice to see that on the list. What else? So number 20 here is a new Switch game, Space Invader Invisible Collection. I think that's Invisible. Oh, Invincible Collection. Invincible Collection. Okay. Yeah, interesting to see a Space Invader game on the number 20 spot, but it looks like 3,000 units of that were sold. And then just under Space Invaders, sadly enough, is Doom Eternal. I just don't think Doom is something that really appeals to Japanese sensibilities. They did have a little bit of a feature about it not too long ago in the book. I would assume that it's game for video game players and not really the wider public. So, interestingly enough, down here at 25, that's interesting. Animal Crossing New Leaf has come back on the list. It looks like last week it sold 2,500 units. So, yeah, that's interesting to see that come back on the list now that the new game is out. So let's go over to the most anticipated games for this week. We can see that number 1, Final Fantasy Remake, is still there. I believe that it came out today in both America and Japan. So next week we'll see that probably at the top of the sales list. Number 2 is Tales of Arise. Yeah, that game has steadily moved up the charts, and it doesn't really surprise me that much. Number 3 is the Zelda Breath of the Wild, the new game coming from that team. And number 4 is Trials of Mana. Number 5, Bayonetta 3. So there's yeah, fairly same games that we're always seeing on this list. Looks like the only new addition to this list is number 28. There's a Yokai Watch game coming out. It says Yokai Gakuen, so like, yeah, private school of some sort. Yeah, Yokai Gakuen Y, and then the title is YY Gakuen Seikatsu. So YY, I think is like some kind of like excitement maybe, and like basically excited for school life or something like that. So yeah, so that's your top 30. Most of the stuff is pretty normal. We also talk about the top 30 rookies. These are all titles that are original, the first titles in a series. So there's no sequels here at all. This list is the same as every week. We have Ushido at number 1, Ghost of Tsushima, Cyberpunk 2077. Shit. I learned how to say this last week, but I forgot. I think it's like Tensho, maybe? I'm not sure. Tensho no Saku na Hime. Yeah, so nothing really new here. Ghost of Tsushima is definitely one of the top ones that we say every week, and it looks like that's coming out, at least in Japan, June 26th. So we're going to be seeing that on the list for a while longer. Yeah, here's some screens of that Genshin game that is been on the list for a long time. The developer is Chinese. It's an RPG. It's an open world RPG, it says. Yeah. Looks like you can have a 4-player party. And everybody's going to be having their own specialities, which isn't any different from normal RPGs. Here's the cross reviews. I didn't know that Exit the Gungeon was even out. I'm not even sure what that game is, but I really did love Enter the Gungeon. So I'm going to have to find out some more information about that. These 3 reviews right here are the ones that interested me the most. Bleeding Edge is Microsoft's newest or new game that they're trying to go after the competitive gaming market. It's a much in the vein of Overwatch. They're going for 4-on-4, 5-on-5. I'm not really sure exactly how many players. Unique abilities going after each other using teamwork. Yeah, action shooting game. Famitsu gave it a silver award. We've got 8778. Doom Eternal got a really pretty good score, gold award 8899. And then Resident Evil 3 over here, I got a pretty nice score, 9999. Now I've heard some criticism against about the game in the West. I read this first guy's review, and it sounds like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I think the thing that I'm most interested in is the resistance mode. I always thought that sounded really interesting, and they're gonna have a little bit about it in this this magazine as well. Looks like there's a Picross ripoff that came out to Nintendo Switch that got an alright score. And then I don't know what this is, like some kind of a Japanese adventure game. Over here we have the Game Awards. Yeah, so the 2019 Game of the Year. Um, okay, so these are just showing you the nominations for the Game of the Year. They are going to have a live show on the 18th, so next Saturday, on their website, called the Famitsu Dengeki Game Awards for 2019. So yeah, here's the nominations. Game of the Year: 13 Centennials, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, Death Stranding, Fire Emblem. What is it? Four Houses or something like that. Pocket Monster: Sword and Shield. What do I see winning? Maybe Sekiro. I think I see Sekiro probably winning. Um, Most Valuable Creator. George Kamitami. Uh, Kojima, or Miyazaki something from Software. Um, yeah, I probably see Kojima maybe winning. I'm not sure. I think Kojima is maybe more popular in the West than he is in Japan itself. I'm not really sure. We'll have to find out next week. Um, it looks like, yeah, the show is going to be on Nico Nico, Periscope, and YouTube. Uh, yeah, so you can check it out next week if you're interested in that. I might check it out. Yeah, we'll see. I'll have to set a thing on my phone. What else do we have? Best scenario, best action, best indie, Untitled Goose, Gunoshia. I'm not sure what Gunoshia is. Baba Is You. That's interesting. Baba Is You's on there. What else? Best graphics, best shooter, best rookie, meaning best original title, best music, best action adventure, best esports, best character, best uh, best adventure, best story ma. I think Storima is maybe character, best online game, and best RPG. So those are the categories. I'm not going to go over each nominee for each category, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think I might definitely check it out. Um, Here's the other game. Another game that I'm kind of interested in. It's coming from Nipponichi Software. The title is Shoujo Jikoku no uh, Doku Musume. Um, I think the screens for it look really cool. I like the pink neon art style of this game. Um, yeah, I don't really know much about it, but I'll have to finally read one of these stories and learn more. So next, we have a story about Resident Evil 3 here. I think we've seen enough information about Resident Evil 3. Information here on the resistance mode. Uh, 4 7. Oh, so does it? Okay, so it says that the first contents, the first chapter, don't appear until 4/17. So next Friday is the first day that this resistance mode is actually going to work, I guess. So, huh, that's interesting. What else? Let's see. I'm gonna pick this up, flip through, because there's a lot of middle stuff that doesn't need to be talked about. So here we have the main story, or the main feature. Big picture of cloud. Some words. Yeah, so this is just telling about the story. Um, yeah, here's the table of or no, that's not table of contents. That's how the game has come along. 2015's June 2015 looks like yeah, that's when they made the announcement for the game, and then they've been working steadily since then. So here's some screens from the old game mixed with screens of the new game, showing you the comparison shot here. Oh, this is interesting. So I guess the game is coming on 2 Blu-ray discs. That's really interesting. I didn't know that. Maybe that's already been revealed, but yeah, I find it pretty interesting. Here we have the action system. You can see down here. These are your meters. This is compared to the old one. Oh, there's going to be mini game quests. It says. And yeah, just like insanely new graphics. They're doing a comparison side by side here of the church scene with Aerith and Cloud. These graphics next to these graphics. So, of course, the graphics are going to be insanely better. These are just more pictures, like side by sides. This is new. This is old. You can see his hair is much more detailed. Here's the famous Cloud one standing in front of the Mako reactor, Shinra. This is new. This is old. So I think the old ones. I mean, when you look at pictures in a magazine, they still look really good. Um, Here's some more screens that look good. This is going into. This is where they start going into the characters. They're talking about Cloud Strife on this first page. Each person is getting one page devoted to them. This is Aerith Gainsborough. I guess I didn't know that Aerith had a last name, and it's Gainsborough. So, whatever. Sorry, I've got a cold, or not a cold, but allergies, so I'm constantly sniffing. Aerith looks sick. Here's Barrett. Barrett looks really good. Biggs, Weds, and Jesse. I remember them from the original group when you're getting off the train. So I think one of the things that they're doing with this game is that they're because they're making this game into, I think, 3 separate games, if I'm not mistaken. They're making it into 3 separate games, and so they're gonna dive in much more to these side characters. We talked about that in a previous episode where I forget the Matrix twins' names, but they're gonna come later in this issue as well. But they're talking about yeah, how they're fleshing out a lot of these smaller characters that just kind of appear on the screen for a while. I'm actually I've seen some criticism online of the game only taking place in what is the name of the first city? Uh, Midgar. Yeah. Only taking place in Midgar, but I find that fascinating because I always wanted to explore Midgar more. And in the first game, you didn't really get that much time there as you did out in the rest of the world. Um, so yeah, I think it sounds, in my opinion, sounds good. Um, so yeah, that's Barrett. Next we have Tifa Lockhart. Of course, she's sexy, sexy, and so we got some sexy screens of her here. Um, Next we've got Red 13, Professor Hojo. Most of the Red 13 ones are on this page, so I'll give you a glimpse at that. I think they made an announcement that you wouldn't play as Red 13 in this game. I'm not sure if that's still true. Sephiroth, you know, sexy, sexy villain that you're not sure if you want to fuck or murder. And then here's some more of the bad guys. We got Rufus over here. I got some screens with him. President Shinra. Here. And then here's the Matrix guys. Rude, Sang, and Reno. So, they look very much like something. Who's the Final Fantasy guy? The zipper guy. I forget his name. But they look very much like something he would create. And then here's a bunch of smaller characters. Scarlet, Palmer, Hidiger. Looks like these guys work for Shinra Company, maybe. Roche, Reeve, Tusi. I think these are all original characters for this game. Wow. Here's they're also gonna go to Wall Market, which could be cool too. Don Corneo, Leslie Kyle. Yeah, Leslie Kyle definitely sounds like a new game. Chocobo Sam. Got Chocobo Sam over here, right, riding roping chocobos. Madam what a dumb name. Madam Mum. Okay, whatever. Um, these are the locations in the game. So what do we have? We got Midgar over here on this page. We have Underground Tunnel. Mysterious light area. The seventh slum, seventh heaven. Beginner hall. Loveless. Church. Plum Waterfalls. Harris's house. Yeah, there's more over here. Wall Market. This is Shinra Company here. Oh, this is the train. So the train that you basically walked on top of, it looks like they're busting it out and making it a little bit of a bigger area. So, yeah, looks good. More comparisons. Aerith here. We got Tifa over here. Comparison shots. I think they're just trying to hit home that while this is a new game, it's also very representative of the first game. So. Okay. So this is talking about the fighting system, how you're gonna use the menus and stuff like that to fight, bursts, all kinds of stuff like that. So, looks like this is like the materia, yeah, materia wheel. I think that's materia, right? Yeah, materia. This is going into the materia wheel, slotting materia into weapons and stuff like that. So. This is some of the spells that each one has. Light Flower, Tempest, Ospio, Healing Wind or something like that. So yeah, going into some of their special moves that you're gonna get. Tifa Lockharts, Barretts, of course, are all gun arm based. So yeah. This is some of the, what is it? Oh, these are the what they called summons. Yeah, summons. Leviathan. Over here we have Ifrit and Shiva down here. Got some screens looking at what the actual explosion's gonna look like. The good character pictures here. Chocobo and Moogle. It's listed under evolutions. Is that or summons? Is that going to be a summon? Yeah, maybe it is a summon. Yeah, Mogu Bakudan. So Mogul Bomb. Somehow the Chocobo is gonna like throw the Mogul as a bomb. So other small characters that are returning here. What else do we got? This is going into techniques for fighting. These are some of the mini games and stuff. There's going to be bike battles. You're going to be able to play darts. A music collection. It looks like a jukebox or something like that. Yeah, like lots of different quests. So here's comments from, or basically question and answer from the producer and director. Oh, so this is a voice actor for Cloud and a narrator. Interview with him. More pictures. Here's one of Barrett. Comparison of Barrett with new and old. This is going into the history. They're showing the original Famitsu that came out with the original game in it. Yeah, they're going into all the different sub games. Advent Children here. Before Crisis. This was a mobile phone game that came to iMode and Yahoo phones. Tetsuya Nomura. That's the guy's name that I was thinking of. Over here, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy for PSP. Dirge of Cerberus that came out for PlayStation 2. And then some smaller games as well. Kingdom Hearts. Dissidia, Final Fantasy. Operomania. Dissidia, Final Fantasy. Theatrhythm. Yeah, Guts. World of Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy Brave Exodus. Some other things that they've been in. I didn't know that they did a crossover with Monster Strike. Oh, what is it? Smash Brothers. Here's some information about the theme song of the game. What the collector's edition is looking like in Japan. I'm not sure if that's exactly the same as the collector's edition that's coming out in America. But here's some more goods over here. Japan is getting a PlayStation 4 for Final Fantasy and a PlayStation 4 Pro. The neck speaker. Anybody needs that. Cloud on a motorcycle. What do you call it? Figure. They're coming out with glasses. Plush characters. One of those ring holders to put on the back of your cell phone. Postcards. More play arts, figures. And then there's the final page. All the guys together. All the people together. Looking cool. So, yeah. So that's Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think that's probably going to be the biggest game of this next week. So, what else do we got in here? I think as always, we're going to save the best for last, but I don't think there's really anything else to talk about. We got got sales chart marketing report here for console sales. Interestingly enough, Switch sales have dropped in the last week. Everything's dropped. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. And information here about the expansion pass coming to Pokemon. So the final thing we are going to talk about here is snacks. I love snacks. So yeah, every week we talk about the different snacks that are coming to places, not supermarkets, convenience stores in Japan. So Family Mart has Big Family Chicken. It's okay. Yeah, it's just bigger than the normal size. Mini Stop. One of the cool things about Mini Stop is that they sell fresh soft cream from their front counter. So it looks like they've got a new vanilla flavor. So might have to go check that out. I love vanilla. So here's egg pudding. Yeah, kind of like a custard, I'm guessing. That's coming to Mini Stop as well. There's a cheese eclair coming to Family Mart. Cupcake. what it's called, Cupcake series. So I guess that's a series of snacks. But this is pie and milfew. I don't know what a milfew is in English. Maybe it's just milfew, but yeah, it's something that they've interpreted over here. So, what else do we have? Uh, so Lawson has a um, ham, egg, and macaroni salad. Uh, Lawson has an Italian style cicciria torori nasu. So like soft eggplant and tomato sauce pasta. So what is this? Yuzu salt ramen. Uh, we have soy pork ramen here. This is chicken ramen. Over here we have a new thing of chips. I've had these before, not this flavor, but this style of chip. They're not the greatest. What are these? Habanero chips. These are never spicy. And then over here we have Kinoko no Yama strawberry flavor. So those are this week's snacks. Yeah. I think that's going to do it for this issue, this episode of Famitsu. Check it out. Yeah, we mainly talked about Final Fantasy VII. I will continue playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. That's been the game that's dominated my play over the last week or so since it's come out. I started playing Prey as well. You can see the video on Mixer, or I'll put it up to YouTube sometime soon. Started playing that and was having some fun with that, but it's going to be taken off of the Game Pass in a few days. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it. I've kind of gotten stuck in this one spot. So I might go back to it this weekend and play it a little bit. Yeah. So join me again next week. We're going to be talking more about hot games in Japan. This has been Famitsu. Check it out. Check out my website, owrgames.com. Twitter, owrgames, SOPACHUCO13, SOPACHUCO13. Mixer is also SOPACHUCO13. I think that's it. Yeah. YouTube. OWR Games on YouTube to check out the archives. So, yeah, follow me on everything. Like my stuff. I'm going to continue doing these anyways, but it's good to hear that people like them. So, that's going to be it for me today. Follow me again next week when we probably talk about... What is next week? Let's see the releases. Bunch of crap. Celeste is coming out in Japan. Oh, the Trials of Mana is coming out pretty soon. It's on the 24th. What's that? So it's farther away than I thought. Next week will be the 17th, 16th. Yeah. Bunch of anime games. Yeah. Nothing really that great. So I think next week's going to be kind of a sad week. All right. See you next time. Bye bye.